You already know. You've known for a while. The question was never whether the decision was right. The question was whether you were going to trust yourself enough to let it hold. Hi, I'm Tami, an executive leadership strategist and advisor, and this is a Leader's Purpose podcast. You're sitting in a seat where the decisions you make are visible, impactful, and felt by everyone around you. You carry the weight of the organization, and everyone around you knows it, which means everyone pulls on you constantly. And most of what you've been handed about leadership isn't wrong, it's just backwards. I've spent years studying what drives performance at the highest level. Every week, I bring you what I've learned, the patterns, the reframes, and the things that no one's saying out loud, so you can stop managing your leadership and start trusting it. You already have what it takes, and this is where you get to remember that. Let's do this. Before we get into it, if you've been listening and you're ready to go a little deeper, I have a private audio series called The Invisible Weight. 6 episodes, free, loads straight to your phone. Just a closer look at what leaders at your level are carrying that doesn't get talked about in most rooms. So the link is in the show notes. So for the last 6 weeks, we've been talking about leadership myths. Naming what's been handed to us about leadership that wasn't wrong, it's just backwards or out of date. Things that may have worked at one point, but in today's culture, don't. And here's what I noticed. The leaders who resonated most with the series were not the ones that were looking for what was broken. They're the ones ready to stop managing around something that they've already outgrown. So this series goes somewhere different. We're not naming what was handed to you anymore. We've done that. We're going to talk about what's already in you, the wiring you've been second guessing, the instincts you've been editing or muffling, and the decisions that settled before you gave yourself permission to trust them. And why am I going here? It's a good question. I'm so glad you asked. I'm going here because this is hands down the biggest opportunity I've seen in every leader that I've worked with over the last 2 decades. They have something within them that they have not been owning. And once they did, everything shifted. So we're starting a new series today, and I'm calling it, This is What You Are Already Built For. Here's what I've seen more times than I can count. A leader who has already made the decision. They run it through every filter, looked at it from every angle, sat with it at 3 a.m. The decision was settled. And then it was opened back up. Not because something changed, but because they haven't trusted themselves enough to let it hold. This is what today is going to be about. Not about how to make better decisions. We'll get to that in a couple of weeks, but how to stop auditing the ones you've already made. So I want to tell you about a leader I know. I figured this is the best way to start to bring it to life a little bit. So this leader, he built something from nothing. Creative, strong, driven. He is an entrepreneur at heart. He's a leader at heart. He loved his business the way you would love something that you fought for. He loved his business. He grew it from just him and one helper to now when he got big enough to need a real team, he built one. And somewhere in the middle of building that team, everything became urgent. Every decision came back to him. Every fire needed to be put out by him. Every day started full and ended fuller. He told me once, I can't slow down to build systems. There are too many fires. And I understood that. I really did. Because when you're in it, when everything is urgent and important at the same time, slowing down feels like losing ground. It feels irresponsible. You have obligations. You feel like you're letting people down. You have your team and you have your customers and you have your overhead. And it feels the opposite of what you've got here. Here's what it was costing him. He didn't have any free time. He was taking calls first thing in the morning and until late at night. It was costing him his peace. And eventually, the thing that hurt the most is he stopped loving his business. The thing he fought for, the thing he built from nothing, he stopped loving it. And here's what I want you to hear. He didn't lose his love for the business because it got hard. He was not afraid of hard work, and I know that you're not either. He lost it because he was making the same decisions over and over. Not because they hadn't been made, but because he hasn't trusted them enough to let them hold. The decisions about who handles what, made and then reopened. The decisions about the process, made and then revisited. The decision about the team, made, audited again the next week. As new information came, he re-looked at decisions that were already made. As as things shifted, he just started redoing the same things that he was already doing. And when a decision didn't hold, when it doesn't hold, it doesn't disappear. It just keeps coming back and it brings everything with it. The doubt, the second guessing, and the weight of not knowing if you can trust your own read on the situation. That is the exhausting, in a way that is, this exhausting feeling that in a way that a good night's sleep can't and won't fix. And the most disorienting part is you're really excellent at what you do. Your read on situations are usually right, and you've made the hard calls before and they've held. So why does this one keep coming back? Because the decision wasn't the problem. The trust was. Not the trust in the team. He had the team and he built the team. Not in the process. They started to build the process, but it was the trust in yourself, deep in your knower, that the read on the room that settled before you gave it permission to. The deep in the knower of, if I get this wrong, a lot of people are going to be affected. We talked in the intro, I talked about how your decisions are visible, they're impactful, and they're felt by everyone in the organization, which means there's a lot of pressure added to it. So your body that made that call before your brain finished building the case. And it's not a flaw. This is a wiring. It's survival. This is what our brain was supposed to do. This is how this is the instincts. The question was never whether you're going to keep auditing the question is whether you're going to keep auditing what you've already settled and let it hold. So here is what I want for you. I want you to be able to walk into a week where decisions you made last week are still standing. Not because you defended them, not because nothing came up, not because you didn't get more information, because we all know information keeps coming, but because they held and because you let them hold. I want you to have your evenings back. I want you to have your weekends back. I want you to have mornings that start off slower, not because the work got lighter, because you stopped carrying the weight that had already been set down. That leader I told you about, when he finally got a clear read on what was routing back to him and why, it didn't change his business overnight, though we wish it would, but let me tell you what it did change. It changed what he did in his mornings. He stopped starting the day in crisis mode. And when you stop starting the day in crisis mode, then there's a lot of times where you don't have to end it in crisis mode either. He stopped making decisions that had already been made. So once he decided on how it was this situation would be handled, for now on, that's how they're handled. And slowly, and a lot slower than he would like, of course, but he started remembering why he built this thing in the first place, why he built this business, why he picked this team, and what really it meant to him. You already have what it takes to lead at this level. What I found in leader after leader, that this is that ones who get their footing back aren't the ones who finally get more information. They're the ones who stop second guessing the information they already had. They already made the decision. And the question is whether you're going to trust it. And I believe you can. If something in this episode landed, if you recognize that feeling of a decision that keeps coming back to you, I want to invite you to sit with one question this week. What have you already decided that you keep reopening? Not because it was wrong, because you haven't let yourself trust it yet. That's where we're going in this series. We've got a couple of episodes. Actually, I don't know how many episodes we're going to do just yet. I've got some ideas. But the wiring you already have, the instincts you've been editing, and the leader you really have been this whole time. If you want to go deeper before next week, there's the Invisible Weight, a private audio series waiting for you. Or if you want to just really get at the heart of it, get on a call with me, TamiMarieCoaching.com/call. And this 45 minutes, let's talk about what is routing back to you, and let's diagnose why and then remove it. All right, friend, I can't wait to see you next week. I hope you like the series as much as I do. And, well, you already have what it takes. It's time that we start trusting it. All right, bye for now.